What if network marketing shows you that there's a different way to live life? Can that not be a measure of success right there? It opened your awareness that there is another way to do this thing called life. Rather than feeling like, oh yeah, I did that thing and I failed. Oh yeah, I did that thing and it didn't work for me. What if it did work for you? What if it's working exactly as it's meant to? Was it really a failure? Or was the thing that actually was the success in that was that you overcame that hump of your comfort zone where you went for something and you held your ground of being so decided and working toward it every single day, even though you knew you might not hit it. And for you, that was the growth. If you shifted that internally, that is success to me. That doesn't mean you failed in network marketing. Maybe you haven't found the success in terms of money yet, but you grew immensely as a person. You finally feel enough. You finally feel worthy. Those are things that they can't be measured. Hello, you guys, and welcome to this week's episode of the Expand and Evolve podcast. This week, I wanted to talk about reframing and redefining success and failure in network marketing. I was voice noting back and forth with a consultant the other day, and we were just speaking about, she's been in the business for over 5 years. We've kind of had a relationship since the beginning of my journey in network marketing, and we were just speaking about how much she has changed since she started. And although she didn't grow to the top of this company, her life has completely transformed. And I was like, okay, this is the power of network marketing that we sometimes overlook. I think a lot of people, when they think about starting a network marketing business or building a network marketing business, or maybe you're in network marketing and you think, I'm a failure because I haven't made it to the top. And I wanted to just speak about how that is so not true. And we need to start measuring our success based on our personal growth within our lives and not just within our businesses. Because I think if we strictly focus on the growth within our network marketing business, we can end up feeling like a failure. We can feel like we're behind. We can feel like we're losing time. We fall into this comparison with other people and we start to feel like they're doing better than me and I suck because they're growing faster, not factoring in all of the life things that are happening at that same time. So I wanted to kind of share this little bit of a story, a little bit about this specific situation. And then I want to tie it back to why this matters so much when we redefine what success and failure means in network marketing, because I feel as though we so often think of our successes as what we have only accomplished in the business, right? If we make it to the top, if we promote through the levels, if we get that next bonus, if we get that next team member, the next client. And those, yes, although those are tangible, awesome things to measure our success with, there's so much more that can't be seen that is happening behind the scenes, I feel, before those things ever happen and if they ever happen. So let's just take an example, okay? So let's say you start your network marketing business. You're at the lowest level, you haven't promoted through anything, but you show up on team calls and you have this awareness that a different life exists, a different lifestyle. So for example, maybe you work a 9 to 5. You thought that was the only way. You thought you're going to have to work till you're 65, put your kids in school full time because that's what people do. Go to your 9 to 5 every single day. Life is the same, 2 weeks vacation. That's just how people live. And you're never going to have enough money to vacation when you want. You're never going to have enough flexibility to go to Pilates at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday because you have a 9 to 5 job. And so you live your life in that structure. What if network marketing shows you that there's a different way to live life? Can that not be a measure of success right there? It opened your awareness that there is another way to do this thing called life. You do not need to be a 9 to 5er for the rest of your life. What if that was the little nugget of success that network marketing brought you, regardless if network marketing in the business that you were first introduced to led you to being able to escape that 9 to 5 that maybe you didn't even realize that you loved? Because here's the thing. What I find with a lot of new people is they come in and they're like, yeah, I love my job. I love it. And I am usually the questioner that's like, do you really though? I'm like, do you really love it? And then usually that's Danny Merrill always talks about the matrix glitch, because it's you're so in your story and the way you're living your life. Sometimes you don't even realize that you're not happy. And it can take someone questioning you and pushing you a little further to dig underneath that facade and that mask of, I really like it. I'm really happy. Do you see how my voice went up here? Because so many people they convince themselves that they do because they don't see any other way. So in comparison to what they know, they do like it. They do enjoy it. It feels great. But then when you create another option for them or another way of life, and they're able to see, hold on, if I could choose, if money and time weren't a thing, weren't a factor, would you still choose to do the thing that you're doing right now? And most people say, absolutely not. Like if I had all the money in the world, would I be doing this thing? The answer is no, for the majority. So I'm like, how much do you really love it? And how much have you just settled into and accepted your reality? And you're being positive with what you have, which is not a bad thing, but sometimes you need someone to shake it up. So bring me back to first nugget of success. If you come into network marketing and you see that there's a different way that you could live your life, you end up realizing like, wait a second, there's people out here building flexible schedules. There's people out here who are able to build a business alongside their kids. Like they don't have to put their kids in daycare full time, or they don't have to put their kids in school full time. You're able to see that there's another way to do this thing called life. To me, that's a measure of success right there. It just brought awareness to the fact that there's another way to live. And because that opened up the awareness in your mind that there is different ways to do things, you're expanding your mind. And now the opportunities and the options become endless. So whether you end up building and growing in network marketing, or it gives you the awareness that you're not super happy with where you're at, and then you start to make those changes in your life, to me, that's incredible. That's life-changing. So you don't just have to go to the top of this company to have an incredible life change from network marketing. And I think sometimes we think so linearly. We're like, life-changing is when you make lots of money and that's it. But I'm like, for the girl that I was just speaking with and voice noting with, she was able to realize her worth through starting her network marketing business. It opened her up to different opportunities. It put her in circles with really powerful, incredible women. It started to show her that there was a different way to do life. It brought in the awareness that she was able to choose and create the life that she desired. Did she grow to the top of this company? No. But what she did do was she finally had the courage to leave a relationship, which she definitely needed to leave, and had the courage to go pursue real estate. And now she's a super successful real estate agent. And she was just voicing me the other day. She's like, the foundations of what I do in real estate, I learned through network marketing. Like, because I started my network marketing business, I knew the importance of client follow-up. I knew the importance of building relationships. I knew the importance of that, like, not to take it personally, how to face rejection, how to book appointments, how to keep going even when you don't get the sale right away. She has all the foundational skills to go be successful in real estate because she knew and learned all of those foundations here in network marketing. So did she go to the top of this company? No. But is she crushing it in real estate because of everything she learned here? Yes. And now she's able to see, like, you know what? I see the value of network marketing, and like, I actually am going to like restart my business again. But not everything is linear. So she needed to come into this business. She had the success she needed. She needed to open her mind to something else. It gave her the courage to go pursue something, which is entrepreneurial, which is real estate. And now she's crushing it in that thing. And she's thinking about coming back and starting her own business again, or her network marketing business again, which she will. Right. And so I feel like that is something that is so wildly incredible. Can you see how that's still success? No, she didn't grow to the top, but she built the foundations that are making her wildly successful in the endeavor she's in now. Could we attribute that to like her network marketing business was successful because it planted the nugget she needed to pursue an entrepreneurial journey, pursue that next thing, and it's now translating into her current business. And I think for how many women or people or men come into network marketing and it's their first experience with something that's entrepreneurial. If it's your first thing you've ever done that puts you into the entrepreneurial space where you're not being told what to do and you're learning those foundations, and then you go and create another business from it, or you go and crush it in a different industry, I feel like that was still successful. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think rather than feeling like, oh yeah, I did that thing and I failed. Oh yeah, I did that thing and it didn't work for me. What if it did work for you? What if it's working exactly as it's meant to? What if because here's another example. When you come into a network marketing business, I'm dealing with this right now with some of my leaders, okay? They're going through some serious growth pains in their organization and their business. And the coolest thing about it is me, sorry, I have like a thing in my throat. The coolest thing about it to me is that I'm watching them grow through these things that are real life things. Okay. Like, and I've talked about this before, but whether it could be an addiction, it could be something serious that you're moving through. It could be addiction. It could be the mother wound, the father wound. It could be abandonment. It could be rejection. It could be unworthiness. It could be not enoughness. It could be name the thing that you struggle with, name the thing that's shown up in your life. And your network marketing business is going to shine a light on that thing at some point. So for some people, when they join network marketing, that fear of not enoughness, that fear of failure, that fear of rejection, that fear of success, that fear of making money is put right into your face right away. You have to move through that. And most people opt out. They go, ugh, this feels uncomfortable. I'm not doing this. Okay, hands up, go somewhere else. I don't want to deal with it. But what if it's showing you exactly what you needed to be shown, because that exact thing is what's holding you back in other areas of your life? Some people don't want to face it. Some people would rather be like, ooh, I feel that thing and it's showing up for me, but like, I don't want to face that. So I'm going to avoid it by removing myself. I'm bringing this up because this could be the way that you're living your entire life. And when you start network marketing, it could be the very thing that finally shines light on the thing that you've been avoiding. So I see this all the time. So something that's going on right now that I'm seeing with certain people and in my organization is, for example, the ability to ask for help, the ability to drop the hyper independence and realize like you have to rely on people. If you're going to get to the very top of this company, you can be hyper independent and you can grow your business and you can do it through hard work and determination and grit and all that. But there comes a degree of team structure and team that matters. Like if you're going to get to the top, we always say like, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And yes, if it is meant to be and it's up to you, it will be you, your mindset, your intention, your action, all of those things matter. But at the same time, there's a certain degree of team necessary to get you to those way higher levels. And so for some people, this is the first time in their life since the initial wounding happened in childhood where they were like, uh-oh, I put myself out and leaned on someone for help. They didn't show up for me. That hurt a lot. And so because that caused me so much pain and that hurt my heart is walled, and I will never, ever allow myself to fall into a position where I need someone else ever again. Because when I needed somebody, they didn't show up for me. They hurt me. They weren't there for me. And therefore, I'm going to be hyper independent. I'm going to close myself off and I'm going to do everything myself for the rest of my life. Okay. So this can happen where people are building their whole lives like this. You can be really successful in that space. You can go build a business. You could go to school. You could go do lots of things where you're like, I'm hyper independent and I've got me and I don't need anybody else. Okay. You can wear that armor for a long time and be really successful. But then there's a certain point where you need people. And like, are you willing to let people in? Like for some people, that's scary. That brings up something that like they have not touched or acknowledged or dealt with since childhood. And if you're not on a personal growth or spiritual journey, you may not even realize that this is what's happening and this is what you're being faced with, but that's what's happening. And so it's like in that moment, are you going to choose to avoid and run away and go back to the thing that's keeping you stuck where you are? Or are you going to lean into it? And are you going to go into it and allow yourself to feel what it feels like to be supported, to feel what it feels like to rely on other people again, to feel what it feels like to need another? That can be really scary. Another example, asking for help, saying what you want. Some people, this will show up in their business where it's like, oh my gosh, for me to go further, I need to actually like put my desires out there. I need to expose my heart and share my truth and my vulnerability of like what I really want to accomplish, why this matters to me. I need to ask for help. Ooh, this is one I see a lot of women struggle with. Asking for help. They want to go for a promotion. They have this vision. They have this dream. They have this goal that they want to go for. But now it means like you need to rely on again, to watch your kids to be able to do it. Or you need to ask somebody for help. Or you need to ask your partner to stop golfing every day because you need some support because there's something you want to do and you can't do it all. This one can be really confronting for a lot of people because in that it can combat this illusion of like, I'm the perfect wife and I'm the perfect mom and I don't need anybody. And now you need someone. And now you need to also ask for what you want. A lot of people don't know how to ask for what they want. And so this becomes really, really challenging when you're wanting to push for a promotion, for example, or push to that next level. And like, you can't do it all. You can't make every meal perfectly. You can't keep every bed made. You can't watch the kids and change every diaper. You can't take care of that whole thing of being the perfect mom, perfect wife, and level up in your business the way that you want to. But your deep desire right now is that you want to level up. But that's going to take you having the courage to say, hey, for these next 30 days, 90 days, whatever it is, it's typically a 30, 60, 90-day cycle. To get to the top, I usually say like 6 months typically is on average, right? Of like a really intentional push to get there. And in that, you're going to probably have to say like, I can't make dinner every night and have the beds made. Like, I need your help. And I need you to take over the kids for a couple hours every day so that I can actually do this. And this means a lot to me. Maybe you've never had to share about what you want and what you really desire. And you're so used to putting everyone else in front of you. You've lived your whole life self-abandoning and making sure everyone else's needs are met because you're a people pleaser, that this is the first time your needs are not being met because you know internally what you really want, but you can't bring yourself to ask for it. You're hoping that they see it. They're like, can't you see that this is what I want? And you're hoping that they'll just pick it up. But for you, that journey right now is to actually ask them for help, to, what's it called? Like delegate. You need to delegate. You can't do it all. You can't. Like, I know for me, when I was in that season of grinding and pushing to get to that next level and get to the top of the company, I was not a present mom. I wasn't a present mom. I wasn't cooking. Like, there was times I was doing stuff, but like, it was a freaking gong show and a juggle and an all day effort to this goal that I was going for. Was I the perfect mom and wife in that season? Absolutely not. There was no way that I could have been. But luckily for me, I didn't feel this nagging pressure to be those things. And so it was easy for me to be like, no, this is my goal right now. This is my main focus. This is where my attention and my energy is. I know for a lot of other women, that's really tough to do. And so if that's you, you may be stuck in your business right now because you're not going to get to that next level until you overcome that thing. So I think a lot of the time when people are stuck in network marketing, they think it's because I don't know enough people, or I have no one to talk to, or nobody wants to join me, or no one, whatever. I'm like, that's surface level junk. Okay. I've seen it time and time again that the second that someone makes the decision, the intention is set, they are 100% going, the people come every single time. So that's never an accurate excuse ever. I've witnessed it enough times now to be like, no, not true. Doesn't exist. Unless you really have no network. And then I'm like, well, what are you doing in network marketing? Or go join groups and like start networking because you need human beings to talk to if you're going to do this, or you need to build a social media following, or you need to do something. We're going to be in front of people, right? But typically what it actually is like you're stuck because there's a level for you to be at that next level in your business. It's calling a higher version of you that you're not that person yet. And you may be right there, but like there's growing pains that are going to be in the in-between. And so those growing pains could be getting out of your comfort zone in some way. And that comfort zone for everyone is different. That comfort zone could be putting yourself out on a whim and asking people for what you need, telling people what you want, sharing your desires, asking for help from your spouse, asking for help from your family, actually telling them what it really means, sharing your dreams with other people, feeling the feeling of like declaring that you want something and knowing you might fail. You might not hit it the first time. But again, when we're talking about redefining success and failure, like if you went for something for the first time in your life that you weren't 100% in control of and sure of, which meant you might end up short, which you equate to failure, was it really a failure? Or was the thing that actually was the success in that was that you overcame that hump of your comfort zone where you went for something and you held your ground of being so decided and working toward it every single day, even though you knew you might not hit it. And for you, that was the growth. The fact that you didn't have 100% certainty and you went for it anyways. Like for some people, going for something that they don't have 100% certainty on is the growth. Like that's the thing that is the success in that lesson and in that attempt, is that you just went for something that you weren't 100% sure you could hit, or you weren't 100% sure you would achieve. And for some people who are like the type A perfectionist control freaks that are like, I chose to do this because I was 100% certain it would get me this and everything is logical and everything is linear. That's a really big deal to do that for your first time. So it's like see that as the success rather than reaffirming the story that you're a failure and you weren't ready, or like whatever story you want to have for yourself. I feel like that's really important to acknowledge, that it's not always about, what's that line that they always say, like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. For some of you, you've never taken a shot you weren't sure you would make. That's a huge win in you being able to go for that. Another thing that I feel like people are sometimes like really hard on themselves for is thinking and getting stuck in the monotony of like, I work hard. So this is another one I find some people have to overcome. That when it comes to network marketing, the reason people do this and usually see the value long term is that if you make it to the higher levels, you can create a life of freedom, flexibility, choices. Like you can go and live wherever you want. Typically, if it's virtual and you can work it from your phone, you end up realizing that like you make your own hours. You can work it around your kids. You can work it around your life. And in that comes its own issue, right? Of people ending up struggling to hold themselves accountable because for the first time in their lives, they're not an employee, they're the employer of themselves. And you need to be able to get yourself to do stuff. For some people, they've always lived their entire lives being told what to do. So it's like you go to your job and they tell you the tasks you need to do. You go to school, they tell you the things that you need to do. And now you jump into something like network marketing or an entrepreneurial journey of any kind, and it's on you. Like without someone, like you sending the message or you doing the presentation or you having the phone call or you sending the ask or you doing the live or you showing up on social media, it is all you. And this could be the first time in your life where you're having to show up for yourself. That's a whole other level where some people, they get stuck right at the beginning because they've never had to show up for themselves. They don't even know what to do. They've lived their whole lives doing what everyone else tells them. And so now that they get to choose, they're like, I don't know what to do here. This is so out of my comfort zone that I literally don't know how to function. And so it can be so uncomfortable that they would rather quit and go back to like a full-time job because at least then they're being told what to do. And that's their comfort. That's what they know they're good at. And that's how they know that they succeed. It's like when someone tells me what to do, I can accomplish that task. But when it's left up to me, I don't have that same level of accountability and trust with myself. And it's easier to let themselves down than let somebody else down. And so they don't know how to show up for themselves. Again, another level of growth people have to move through if you're going to be successful in entrepreneurship. And I know that's not always for everybody. Like I know that there's lots of people who maybe they do better as an employee. They like being told what to do. That's meant to be their role. But I really believe it's a conditioning. It's a programming. It's something that we should be able all to self-motivate and be able to do things for ourselves. But if you went to like a traditional school setting and then you had really dominating parents and then you were always in jobs that like everyone, it was top down, they told you what to do, it can be a struggle to learn that skill because you've never had to do it before. So again, giving yourself grace and patience if you start something like network marketing because you've never done this before. And so it's like if you're for the first time in your life doing tasks for you, like, okay, I decided I want to go after this goal. That means like I have to do this stuff. No one's holding me accountable. No one's going to know if I did it or not, but I will. And like, I know I want this thing. So I'm going to take these steps to do that thing for me. If that's your first time doing that in your life, that is wildly massive when you take that first step of taking an action for yourself. That is huge. Because for some people, they've never, ever done that before. Just like when you make your first social media post, if you've never shared on social, you've never spoken on social, no one's ever heard your voice on a camera. When you take that first step, it's huge for you. And so it's like, again, that's a level of success. Even if you don't make it to the top of the company, you just did something that was so frightening and scary and you just overcame it. You need to celebrate each of those successes because those are the things that are going to lead to massive results over time. And also, whether you say network marketing or not, are building your confidence, your worth, your ability to show up for yourself. Those are skill sets that you get to take with you for life. And that's something that I think sometimes is so overlooked within the network marketing space also is like, when you start something like this, the skills that you learn here, you can take anywhere. So for me, for example, being able to now build the school and do all these things, because I have all the skill sets of being able to, and the fact that I've built a successful business already, I have an extra level of confidence coming into this that I know I'm going to be able to do it. Do I still have fear? Do I still have doubt? Do I still have limitations? Do I still think, what am I doing? Am I even going to be successful? Like, what am I doing this for? Should I just quit? Should I just da 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 da? The monkey mind is still going. It's still trying to convince me to just, why would I even attempt it? But I also know, is it going to be challenging in new ways? Yes. Am I going to have to learn new skills? Yes. And is it something I've never done before? Yes. It's brand new. But I also know that if I've built something before, I can build something again. And I know what it's like to build something from scratch. So because I've done this before, I have that belief trickling into this new endeavor. When you build something like a network marketing business, or you learn how to show up on social, you learn how to market yourself, you learn how to do stories, you learn how to make posts, you learn how to sell. You need to sell no matter what you're doing. So bringing it back to the real estate agent, if she never had experience in sales, because she had experience like showing up on social, being consistent, how to make videos, how to talk, how to try to sell a product, that skill is transferable in real estate. That skill is transferable when I need to go and sell my vision, when I need to get people to understand like what my vision is and how this is going to support them and how it's going to support their kids and how it's going to support the families. Like, I have to sell that vision. So you can not want to be in sales if you want to, that's fine. But like, no matter what, we're selling something. So it's like, no matter what business you go into, you're going to have to sell, whether it's your services, whether it's what you do, whether it's a product. It doesn't matter. That's a skill set that you get to transfer. It's transferable. You get to move it between whatever you're doing. And just understanding that like, that's massive. So if you came into your business, and I just want to reiterate, like, if you didn't go to the top or you're not at the top right now, can you start thinking about all of the amazing lessons learned, the growth that you've experienced, and how much that's impacting your life? Another example, someone who she didn't know what personal growth was. She didn't know what a podcast was. She didn't know what reading books was. She didn't see the value. She was like, what is that stuff? Why would I do that? I'm fine. She started doing all of those things because of network marketing. Again, regardless if you've made it to the top of the company or not, do you think someone who starts their personal growth journey is going to be in a better place now than where they started? The answer is yes. So again, regardless of your numbers or your paycheck, even though that's an amazing tangible, and I want everyone that comes in network marketing to make lots of money because money is really helpful. If your journey right now wasn't about making money, but it was growing into the person, like, here's the thing. If you had to grow into the person that could hold that thing, okay? So let's use an example. It's been 5 years. You've been in network marketing. You haven't really done anything now, but in your business, but you have read tons of books. You're listening to podcasts every day. You understand how to prioritize your wellness. You understand how to exercise and prioritize you. You've relearned how to put you first in your day. Massive. That is life-changing and transformational in itself. Okay. Now let's just imagine that you needed those 5 years to become the person who put themselves first in order to bring yourself to the level at which, when the money comes and the success comes, you can hold it. Because for a lot of people, if you grew up in poverty, if you've never had money before, if you've never had success before, do you think if the money came quick, you could hold it? Or would you lose it all? You'd be right back in the same position that you started with because you didn't build the foundational skills in you to be that woman you needed to be, or man, to hold what you're about to create. So if that took 5 years of personal growth and development, prioritizing yourself, prioritizing your wellness, prioritizing your mind, building a connection and faith in God, whatever that is, for you to understand the power you have to create the life that you want, maybe you had to become that version of you before the success in your network marketing business could ever show up, because you needed that space to happen so that now when the money does come, or you start succeeding, or you're growing, you don't self-sabotage it. Because I see this too. You come into it, it's so easy. You've been conditioned because of poverty to work hard. You have to work hard, and I'm a hard worker. And if I just keep working hard, I'm going to get results. No. There's a degree of that, yes. But there's also a degree of, you don't need to work hard to have abundance. Like, you can have money coming in and you're not working that hard. Like, you could do 30 minutes a day and build an awesome business. That is a paradigm shift most people aren't ready for. They're like, but I work 8 hours a day and I work so hard and I'm a hard worker. And so if I'm going to be successful, I have to do 8 hours and I don't have 8 hours. So like, I can't be successful. Like, it's a whole thing. People can't comprehend. And then what I see is like, sometimes they didn't work that hard. They shared with a couple people. All of a sudden they have a team growing. They're seeing results. They're seeing success. They get their first paycheck. It's more than they feel they deserve because they didn't put in 40 hours, let's say. And that can be like, whoa, hold on. Like, this is a paradigm shift because I'm used to putting in 40 hours a week in order to earn this much paycheck. And I just made more than my 40 hours a week paycheck. And like, that is scary because like, how am I making money from something that I'm not used to because I didn't put 40 hours in? This is a whole thing that happens in people's minds. Okay. And then self-sabotage creeps in. And they're like, I don't know what this is, but that's scary because I'm already having money come in and like, ooh, what do I do with extra money? I'm not used to this. And they can completely like hermit shut down, push it away because that's scary. Even though it would benefit them, even though it's amazing, they can push it away. And so just again, knowing that like your stuff and your baggage that you're coming into this business with is different for everyone. And what if you were able to see the value of like every single step of this way? Like, what if it was perfect? What if it was exactly who I needed to grow into in order to hold the success I was going to have? And regardless if it ends up being network marketing or not, if you learn those skill sets, it put you on a personal growth journey. You realize what you really wanted. You connected with your soul through that. You go and create some other amazing business, or you realize like, you know what? It actually helped show me like, I want to be the one that's raising my kids. And so I quit my full-time job because it showed me that this is a life I could have. And now you're with your children. Like all these little things that are huge. And we don't see it like that sometimes. We're like, I'm a failure, I'm not at the top. And it's like, no, what if that wasn't the lesson? What if you weren't meant to go to the top? What if all you needed right now was to be exactly where you are and with those babies? I'm thinking of the moms right now who thought they had to work full time and were going to have to leave their kids after mat leave. And then they come into something like network marketing. They see that maybe they don't have to do that. What if I created a different option? And now you're home with those babies. That's life-changing. You just changed your child's life by being able to create a different thought pattern and not go live out what you thought it needed to be because you started something that showed you that those options exist. Does this make sense? So with that, I think the only other thing I really wanted to touch on was it's not always going to be like hard work. You might need to, your work, it might not be messaging 100 people and talking to all these people and building all these relationships. Like that may not be your journey right now. Your journey could be tuning into you, learning what you really want, learning how to share your desires, understanding that you can have everything that you want in life and you don't need to destroy it because it's so scary. Like I think some people, that's what they'll do. And so having that space for you to understand that regardless of your results in your business, you could be exactly where you need to be right now and going through the exact life changes and shifts internally in order to be ready when that explosion in your business comes, if and when it does, network marketing or not, for you to be able to hold. And something else, the last thing that I just wanted to touch on was some of these women that I've just been talking to recently who were with me in the beginning. And yes, I've built this business and I've succeeded. They haven't found that monetary success yet. But two of them that I was talking with, they found self-worth. They were able to see that like they're able to create this life and they are so undeniably worthy of the life that they dream of. They're willing to dream again. They're willing to see and create the life that they know they really want, the life that they know that they deserve. They're visualizing that. They're creating that. And to me, I'm like, that's priceless. Who cares that you don't have the finances coming in or the money coming in? If you shifted that internally, that is success to me. That doesn't mean you failed in network marketing. Maybe you haven't found the success in terms of money yet, but you grew immensely as a person. And to me, like you can't measure that based on a paycheck. If you finally understood and found your self-worth, you finally feel enough, you finally feel worthy. Those are things that like, they can't be measured. Another one, the girl that I'm thinking about right now, just because we were talking this morning, like not just because of her network marketing business, but it was one of the catalysts to helping her create the life that she wanted. It showed her she was meant for so much more. And in that, she's now found a man who is incredible and takes care of her and is a provider. And she's no longer babysitting this boy that's the children's father. But it's like he had nothing to offer. And because she found her worth, she was like, what am I doing? Why am I still taking care of this guy. Like, he needs to grow the F up and become a man and take care of himself. Like, that's massive. And not that it's always that, I've heard this before, like people in network marketing end up getting divorces. No, there's lots of people who are still together, but there's also a lot of women who were settling for shit. And when they come into a network marketing business, they end up finally realizing their power. They're able to create money and financial success for themselves. They find their worth, they find their value, they find their power, they find their confidence. And when you have a woman who finds that, she's no longer going to settle for a guy who cannot match her and isn't at that same level. So if you go on a personal growth journey and you start growing as a human being and you're reading and you're growing and you're developing yourself and you're growing like this and your partner stays down here, if they're not willing to elevate with you, the only option that can happen is they need to rise to meet you, or you need to fall back down to meet them. You can't live in union, a like happy, sacred union, when your frequencies are completely out of balance. It's going to create havoc. It doesn't feel good. Your body's going to literally start getting sick because you have to be, I think it's in the Bible. It says like you have to be equally yoked. It's that. Like it just doesn't work. It creates conflict and tension and resistance. And so if the woman is the one who goes on this journey, she's like finding her power and she's making money and she's like, oh my gosh, and not out of ego. Like this is personal, like, whoa, I am finding my power as a woman. And she grows up here and the man now feels less than and still hasn't found his power. It's not going to work. But if the man's at his power and he feels like confident and amazing and he's already on purpose in his life and he's on mission and the woman now gets to meet him there, then it's going to be amazing. But a lot of the time what happens is there's a lot of these women who they were down here and they needed this to bring them back here. And then what happens is sometimes the relationship needs to fall away in order to bring themselves to that place to meet the person that meets them. And so if that means a relationship needs to end, it also doesn't mean failure. Like, what if, again, this was the exact thing you needed to bring that awareness to you to go get back on track with the life that you were always meant to live? And sometimes that means relationships end. It's not the end of the world. We sometimes think it is because we've been conditioned to think like you find one person, you stay together for life, even though both of you are miserable and sick and like hate each other. But it's like, no, you of course create space, but like some of the couples that I know who have stayed together the entire time that they've been in network marketing is people who they grew together. They read the same books. They did the same personal growth. They did the same seminars. And so they continued to grow like this rather than apart. So anyways, with that, I just wanted to say, reevaluate the things that you feel are success or failure in your business. Remind yourself that you're exactly where you needed to be. Go write a list of everything that you have grown through, learned, expanded on, evolved through in your journey, whether it's entrepreneurial or network marketing. And if you've taken steps that you never would have taken without this, celebrate that. And regardless of the result and where you are right now, trust that you had to move through those things first in order to ever get to the place that you could be wildly successful in what you're doing. And also trust that the people who are wildly successful quickly typically had done a lot of this bulk work outside of the business. And then when they came in, they already had done all that stuff. And so they were able to grow a lot quicker. Where if you haven't done all of that stuff and this is your first time like going on your personal growth journey, learning how to do sales, learning how to hold yourself accountable, learning how to do things that serve you and are going to help you grow in this business, give yourself grace. It takes time to perfect a new skill. And that's all you can do is be gracious with yourself. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for being on this episode. If network marketing interests you at all and you're not already in the network marketing space, please send me a message on Instagram. I would love to have a full chat with you about just like what I do and how I help women and how I help them grow in this business that I personally do. But I just want to say thank you again and like be so kind to yourself and do something today that like pushes you outside your comfort zone, because all of our comfort zones are different. But when you do that little thing and you inch and you edge, isn't there a book called that, like The Edge or something like that? But you get towards that edge of like what feels like, there is so much incredible value in that. So I just want to encourage you guys again to push yourselves outside your comfort zone, give yourself grace, reframe what you're defining as success and failure in your business. Because if you continue, like, do you know abracadabra? Literally, it means like what you say creates or something like that. I need to find the actual words. But essentially it's like when we speak, we're creating our reality. You should know this by now. Words are spells. That's why it's called spelling. And so if you continue to say, I'm a failure, I'm not good enough, oh my God, why can't I grow? Oh my God, no one's joining me. Oh my God, why can't I be successful? I have no one to talk to. You are reaffirming it. Change the language you're using and you can change your life. Reframe it. Okay. Ping yourself in the forehead every time you do that. But you get to recreate it, and that starts with a reframe. So go reframe everything that you feel right now as a failure in your business. Find a way to reframe that to the positive thing you've learned from that thing. And it will change your perspective, which will change your life and how you feel about you and how you feel about your business. Thank you guys for being here. I will see you in the next episode. Oh, and if you loved this, make sure to like it, subscribe it, share it. That is so helpful with getting the podcast out there to other people. Bye.